Hello guys and welcome back to Triple R Game, and tonight we're doing another Borderlands 3 video. And tonight we will be doing my Zane build. As you've probably seen on the channel before, I've already done a previous Zane build, but that was on level 57. This is now level 72, which is the max level that they've gone to. So I'm going to show you what I've been doing on this one just to update you. And let's start with the skill trees. So the skill trees. So I always start, anytime I start a Zane, because I've got several Zane characters, I always start with the orange tree, because I feel that the orange tree helps you the most on early game. So obviously I always run with the clone and the drone, so you'll see the blue tree later, and I've only focused on these two trees only, and you'll see why, because it works with the class mod that I've chosen. So the first one, the first ability, we got this one here. This gives you extra damage on the action skills. The next one, we've got well, magazine size. Everybody likes a bit of magazine size, so 25% extra magazine size. This one here is duration of your action skills as they're out, because Zane is the only character that can have two. So obviously borrowed time, it gives you more time while they're out, which is very effective. But the main one, which as you can see with the blue square around it, is to do with my class mod as well, which is Donnybrook. Donnybrook is brilliant because obviously every time you kill an enemy, you receive increased arm damage and health regen, and everybody loves that. And obviously I've maxed it out, and I got another 3 points on top, which just helps with the damage. I'm not a defensive player. I like to attack, so obviously this works well with me, and obviously I get a bit of health regen with that. The next one is a copy of my grenade mods. Obviously, as you can see, I don't actually use grenade mods, but I'll explain when we get down why I've got it, because my clone is able to have a copy of any grenade mod that I attach to my character. Even if I don't use it, he'll be using it instead. When we swap, the clone basically gets healed by 50% max health, which is good. You know, when I go to fight for my life, if the clone is out, which most of the time it will be out, I am able to press L, B or RB, and I'm straight back up, depending on which one I set it on. And he'll go away and I'll come back, and it works quite well. And then obviously I can get him back out almost instantly, and it just seems to work. So the next one is pocket full of grenades. You know, he can use the grenades and use his abilities like they were my own, which is really good. I really like that aspect of the of this. So grenades is very important in this build, believe it or not. But obviously, you guys won't necessarily see that coming from me. It'll always be from the clone. If we go across to this one, Supersonic Man. Obviously, speed is a huge factor in this build. The faster I'm going, the more damage I'm doing. So this just helps a little bit. Even if it's just 12% per action kills, that's 24%. So that just helps me go a bit faster. You'll see how fast I really am. I'm really faster on this game with this character. And obviously this one's just to protect myself. Obviously I got a chance to ignore bullets, so you can't argue with that. It's pretty self-explanatory, that one. If we go to the next one, this one gives you a whole load of different abilities. When you summon the Digiclone, it will consume up to 3 grenades. This is what I mean by this one. Obviously, the more grenades I have, it's going to consume at least 3 of those. And I don't think this one stacks. Oh, maybe it does, because it says for every 3 grenades consumed, so it may stack. So obviously, the more grenades I've got, hopefully, that the more damage, the more health, the more fire rate, the more reload speed, and the more duration for the Digiclone. So that one, I do like that one. Moving on to the next one, we've got bonus cryo damage. So obviously 45% extra damage on that one when they're not targeting me. That's that's a no-brainer, because if they're targeting my clone or my drone, obviously they're not looking at me, so I get 45% extra damage for pretty much nothing. And the capstone, double barrel, this is a brilliant one. Not only do you get extra weapon damage, Zane's clone, any weapon that you have in your hand at the time, he will now have. So he will be able to use any gun. So say you've got I don't know, a Breath of the Dying, he will have that Breath of the Dying in his hand. So it's basically you'll have one, he'll have one. And that's what the item duping means. It means that I'm basically duplicating the item to him. So it's a brilliant effect. And obviously you get we both get 25% extra damage, which you can't complain really. So if we go to the augments on this one, we're using this one here. Whenever the clone takes damage, Zane's shield is restored portion of that damage. So obviously it's 100% shield restored. Double banger, sorry. Always get confused with the Jack, with Handsome Jack. This one's quite good. So basically, once he's finished, dishing out all the damage, and it's the end of the action skill, he basically explodes and causing splash damage. So on the first way we go violent speed, which obviously gives you a lot more speed, as well as that 25% we get earlier. Now we get them at 30%, and it stacks twice at 60%. So essentially we're getting almost 100% extra speed from like this one and the Supersonic Man, wherever it is. There it is, from the Supersonic Man. So yeah, and along with that one, this one here works really. Violent momentum. Zane's gun damage is increased while moving. So obviously the quicker I'm moving, the greater the damage bonus. The effect is 20% at default walk speed. So obviously if I'm going 5 times that, that's 100%. I don't know if I'm going 5 times that, but I am going very fast. So as you'll see, a lot of damage can be dealt within that one, and Donnybrook, because obviously Donnybrook helps with those two. They synergize very well together, and I think those 3 should always be together. If you're going to use this setup, those are the 3 main ones you should really use, if you don't use all the other oones that I've chosen. But this obviously, again, this is my personal preference. If we go down to cold hand, reload speed, yeah, basically you kill somebody, you get better reload speed. I think on the last build, I didn't have this one on the last build, but then I was realising some of the shotguns and some of the heavier weapons will take you too long to reload, so I decided, okay, well, let's go for it. Let's ensure that we can reload in time, and because I think I chose this one, which doesn't really do much for me really, so I took it out. But if we go to the next one, this is a lifesteal. You always want a bit of lifesteal. Any type of regeneration you can get, in salvation especially, is good. So obviously you're doing damage, but while you're doing damage, you're taking life from them and giving it back to yourself. And you can't really go wrong now. It's only 15%, but along with some of the other regenerations we get on the orange tree, it kind of all adds up a little bit. It's not great, it's not perfect, but anything's better than nothing. So, and then we go down to seeing red. This used to be the capstone, I believe, a long time ago, but now they've decided to change it to they changed this one for the actual capstone, because the actual capstone was more overpowering than this one. So activating your action skills automatically activates all of Zane's skills. Additionally, all of Zane's skills are increased effect. So obviously you get an effect bonus on those skills. With all the other effect bonuses that we're kind of getting with this build, you start building them up, and before you know it, you're killing stuff in 1 or 2 shots. Especially with the shotgun I have, which I'll show you later. It really does feel like you're overpowered. Going down to violence. This one's basically you kill, you get better fire rate, and obviously some of my guns, again, like I said, some of my guns are a bit slower, so it's always handy to help with the fire rate being a bit higher. It's only 23%, but it's better than nothing. And this one is part of the Seeing Dead class mod, if you get the right class mod. On this occasion it is not, but the one next to it is. So let's go to that one now. Playing dirty. Killing an enemy. Zane's next 5 shots have a chance to fire an additional projectile. Obviously, I've got 2 extra points in that, as you can see. And sometimes it can really work, because it gives you an extra shot, and that's extra damage. So whatever that shot is, say your gun's doing, I don't know, 40,000-50,000 damage. Each shot's doing that amount of damage. You get an extra one, and then you put all the bonuses on top again. It's just and it's 105% chance. So it's pretty much guaranteed every time. If it's basically guaranteed every time because of the 2 extra points, and it's just extra damage at the end of the day. Now let's go down to this one. Now this one, it says diminishing returns, but I think that's slightly overrated, because they're saying that it diminishes through time. I understand it, but it sounds very negative, but it actually works really well, believe it or not. I know it's only 18% that is returned to you, but it really works with the rest. Like the one with the next one along here. Sorry, there's one along here, wasn't there? With this one here, it works along with this one. Obviously, this one's getting like, giving you 30%. That's almost 48%. Before you've done anything else really, of keeping them out constantly, and keeping out the drone and the clone out all for longer periods of time, and it really does work. It keeps them out, and it keeps them going, and it's perfect. So go down to the capstone, and this didn't used to be the capstone, it is now. I think it's because it was better than the Seeing Red one, and they just felt that it should have been, instead of being on the 3rd row down, it should have been right at the bottom, and I think that's why they've moved it. And it's all kill, skills gain, effect, and duration. Now this is the one that really helps keep clone and drone, or clone and sentinel, out all the time. As long as you're killing, it ain't going away. With all this and a few of the other ones, a few of the other skills, it stays out almost constantly if you're in battle. And we've chosen, let's go to this one first. We've converted the Sentinel's primal weapons to cryo. And that's very key for when I show you the weapon setup I have. And then if you go down to the next one, this one is like basically it's radiation. It basically weakens the enemies and buffs Zane, so that's very positive. And it's like a radiation bolt, and it attaches itself to enemies, and over time slowly kills, slowly kills enemies, or takes their life down, so you can maybe have the final shot. It just helps. It's just more damage, basically. It's all more damage. And then as you can see here, enemies, it helps slow enemies down and their attack speed in general. I think it just slows them down in general. But obviously, for every weakened enemy, Zane's movement speed and fire rate are increased, so a bonus again. And then you've got all these bonuses down here per second for the fire rate, movement speed, damage per second, duration. It's just really good, to be fair. It's really good. So if we go to the weapons now, because that's the 2 trees that are my personal preferences and that help me get through this game. Here's the weapons. So these have changed since the last video, because I've had to obviously get level 72 weapons and all my gear up to level 72. But I've got loads on the right hand side of kind of spare ones, so if I fancy change up. But these are mainly these are my main weapons that I use all the time. And obviously we've had a few DLC since the last ones. I picked up some really decent DLC weapons. So let's start with the top one. This one is really good. This one, the Fawns, because I'm on Mayhem 10 now, as you can see. These are all Mayhem 10 weapons. The key thing about this one is obviously there's always high base damage, and then you've also got the plus 166 weapon damage. But with these, it's all about what says at the bottom. When a extra skill is active, weapon damage is increased by 100%. The anointments on this game for Zane are absolutely spot on. So as long as both of mine are out, both of my extra skills are out, I'll always have 100% extra damage on top of all my weapon damage and on top of all my perks, providing I'm using this weapon. So if we go to the next weapon, I believe the next weapon is the same. This weapon is the Plasma Coil. This is from Arms Race, and this was very hard to find, as you can imagine, and the anointment was very hard to find. I don't know if I got it through there, or if I had to actually go downstairs to Earl and get it changed. I don't know, but either way, it took a long time to get this, because this is the best SMG in my opinion in the game. It is a savage weapon, and I recommend anybody to get it. But it is a bit difficult, but I do recommend anybody to get it. Let's star it, because I don't know why it's not starred. And then we go down to, this is the Hellwalker. This is the shotgun I made reference to earlier. The damage is savage. With this one, I've got gain 150% weapon damage against enemies above 90%. Because this is a shotgun, generally speaking, if you hit somebody first time rounds, it does a hell of a lot of damage. So most of the enemies that I'm going to be killing with this will be above 90% before I start. So I will gain, I will gain that anointment, and I'll be killing everything basically. And then obviously you got the 505 extra weapon damage. You got some crit damage there. And it's fire weapon as well. So against most enemies, which are most red bar / flesh, so they will generally go down pretty quickly. So next weapon, the Old Faithful. This has always been in my top 4 lineup, and it's because I just love it. I just love it so much. I cannot get enough of this gun. The reason why I've got this gun is not because of the base damage. It's again because when the Sentinel is active, I get 100% extra damage, and it's in bonus cryo damage as well. And as you've been hearing, I've been saying a lot about cryo damage, and I'll explain why in a minute. So if I explain that now, so if we go down to my relic, this is why cryo is the most important part of the build when it comes to having cryo in the build, and obviously converting my Sentinel over to cryo, because cryo efficiency is up by 58%, and the bonus damage on top of that is 45%. Increases damage while targets are frozen. So if my Sentinel is freezing enemies, I can do basically more damage to that enemy because he's frozen. And then for the shield is a no-brainer for me. I use a stopgap because it gives me 5 seconds of pure immunity to any damage. And obviously on this one you've got the capacity, which is pretty good, max capacity on your shield. I think is that on the shield? Yeah, it must be on the shield. And then the movement speed, when it's so I'm basically going faster when it's depleted, which obviously goes into the violent momentum, the violent speed, and the Donnybrook situation. Again, it just adds more to it. And then on the shield break as well, I get more extra damage from amp damage because the shield is broken. So it's just damage all the way. Like I said, this Zane is not a defensive player. He is an attacker all the way. And then if we go down to the grenade mod, the grenade mod is important. Like I said again, my clone will use the grenade mod constantly. Why I'm not using it, but a Stormfront is very good because it sends out like storm-like damage, and it attaches itself to more than one enemy, and even if it's not the great base damage, it just helps, because especially when I've got an anointment like when the action skill is live, grenade damage is increased by 150%. So actually I'm not doing 34,000 damage. I'm doing maybe close to 100,000 damage, because my action skill is always out. So yeah, it's just a great way of doing more damage. So if we go up to the final one, the Seeing Red class one, I don't have as level 72 because I haven't found one good enough yet, but I am still on the search for a good one with obviously good prefixes to go with the mod itself. But obviously this mod, whenever Zane damages another enemy with his weapons, he has a chance to automatically activate all of his action skills. Additionally, his kill skills. Additionally, his kill skills gain 10% effectiveness bonus. So that's on top of the rest of the effective kill bonuses. On top of that, and obviously I'll get extra weapon damage, pistol damage. So on pistol damage alone, that's why I've got a pistol in the build. I get an extra 72% on top of whatever the pistol's given me. So for example, I got that, so that's the extra 72% on top of the 92,000, which you have to now double. It's just insane damage. So guys, that is my level 72 Zane cryo build. But yeah, next time I'm gonna show you Mo's, because I've got a pretty good Mo's build at the same time, and we will show you that next time. So with that said, like, subscribe and comment below, and we will see you next time.